Yeah, I know she got killed. If you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, so now, I mean,
You didn't harm your wife, did you, John?
No, I didn't. Look good. She had everything going. I mean,
Hey, so do you. Hey, John.
It started as a case that should have been solved in days. A young woman murdered inside her own home. Clear signs of a struggle, evidence everywhere, and a list of potential suspects that was small and easy to track. But instead of answers, this case went cold. Files were boxed up, evidence was overlooked, and the killer walked free for more than 2 decades, living a normal life, building a career, even raising a child. For 23 years, the murder of Sherri Rasmussen remained one of Los Angeles' most painful unsolved cases. A crime that seemed random, confusing, and impossible to piece together, until science caught up, until one forgotten piece of evidence was tested, and until a woman who once thought she got away with everything realized the truth. Her past had finally caught her. The life of Sherri Rasmussen. Before she became the center of a cold case, Sherri Rasmussen was someone everyone admired. Smart, focused, and kind. The kind of person who made others feel seen and respected. She graduated early, finished college at only 16, and built a career in nursing. By her late 20s, she was already the director of nursing at a major Los Angeles hospital. Her colleagues trusted her, her patients loved her, and her family saw her as a bright, steady presence in their lives. In 1984, she met John Rutan, an engineering student at UCLA. They started dating, fell in love quickly, and married the next year. Sherri was happy, busy building a life with the man she loved, planning their future, and settling into their new condo in Los Angeles. But as perfect as their marriage looked, there was someone watching from the outside. Someone John had once known. Someone who wasn't ready to let go. The woman in the background. Before Sherri and John married, John had dated a woman named Stephanie Lazarus. The relationship wasn't serious for him, but it was for her. Stephanie was a police officer in the Los Angeles Police Department. Smart, athletic, respected, someone you wouldn't think twice about, someone trained to protect the community. But when John moved on and chose Sherri, Stephanie didn't take it well. She still showed up at the condo. She still contacted John. She still acted like she had a place in his life. Sherri noticed. She felt uncomfortable. She once told her parents that Stephanie made her uneasy, that she felt watched, judged, and even threatened. But Sherri didn't want drama. She didn't want to exaggerate. She wanted to trust that it would all fade away with time. It didn't. February 24th, 1986, the day everything changed. Sherri stayed home from work that Monday. She wasn't feeling well, and John left early for his job. When he came home that afternoon, nothing felt normal. The door was unlocked. Furniture was overturned. Glass was shattered. The room looked like a violent fight had taken place. And then he found her. Sherri was lying on the floor. She had been beaten. She had been shot 3 times. She had fought with everything she had. The scene was brutal. The kind of attack that comes from rage, not fear. The kind of violence that suggested the killer wasn't a stranger. But within hours, the police made their decision. They said it was a burglary gone wrong. Just like that, the case was pushed in the wrong direction, and the truth slipped away. The burglary theory that never made sense. Detectives believed that 2 burglars had broken in, surprised Sherri, fought with her, and then ran out. They pointed to the items stacked near the door as proof. But Sherri's parents disagreed immediately. Nothing valuable was taken. The crime looked personal, and Sherri had defensive wounds that showed she fought someone up close, not someone trying to escape. Her father gave police a name. He told them about Stephanie Lazarus, the police officer who had been obsessed with John and had warned Sherri to back off. The detectives ignored it. They didn't want to investigate a fellow officer. They didn't want conflict. They closed the case quickly, and the files were sent to storage. No further investigation, no follow-up, no justice. A piece of evidence left behind. One detail from the crime scene was preserved by luck rather than intention. A bite mark on Sherri's arm. Crime scene investigators took a swab of the bite. It was stored with other evidence. At the time, DNA testing was limited. Nothing could be done with it. So the sample waited, year after year, ignored by everyone except the cold case detectives who would rediscover it decades later. 23 years later, a new team takes the case. In 2009, two detectives from LAPD's cold case unit reopened Sherri's file. They noticed something the original team overlooked: the bite mark, and the fact that it likely came from a woman. This immediately challenged the burglary theory, since almost all violent burglaries are committed by men. They tested the DNA. The results confirmed it. The killer was female. With this one discovery, the entire case shifted. The burglary theory collapsed, and one name, a name buried in Sherri's father's statement, stood out: Stephanie Lazarus, the suspect who wore a badge. By 2009, Stephanie Lazarus was no longer a young patrol officer. She was a well-respected detective, married, a mother, working in the LAPD's art theft division, trusted, liked, protected by her badge. The cold case detectives now had the nearly impossible task of investigating one of their own without tipping her off. They couldn't request her DNA directly. They couldn't interview her normally. They couldn't let the rumor circulate inside the department. So they watched her quietly, followed her, waited for her to throw something away. One day, in a public place, Lazarus tossed a drink cup. Detectives grabbed it immediately. Lab tests confirmed their suspicion. The DNA on the coffee cup matched the DNA from the bite mark on Sherri's arm. The attacker was Stephanie Lazarus, a police officer, a trained professional, someone who understood crime scenes, investigations, and how to avoid leaving evidence. But DNA didn't lie, and now the truth was out. The arrest that shocked the department. The detectives planned every detail. They called Lazarus into an interview room under the pretense of discussing an unrelated case. She walked in confidently, unaware she was walking into a trap. As the question shifted, she began to sense what was happening. Her tone changed, her posture stiffened, and then the door opened. Officers entered and arrested her, a 26-year veteran of the LAPD, now handcuffed for a murder she committed when she was just 25. The news shook the entire department. Detectives, supervisors, colleagues who had trusted her for years. Everyone struggled to believe that someone in uniform had committed such a violent crime, but the evidence was undeniable: the trial and the verdict. In 2012, Stephanie Lazarus went to trial for the murder of Sherri Rasmussen. The prosecution laid out the story clearly. Lazarus was jealous. She confronted Sherri multiple times. She entered the condo while John was at work. She killed Sherri in a violent confrontation. She attempted to stage the scene as a burglary. The jury deliberated for only 2 days. Guilty, she was sentenced to 27 years to life in prison. For Sherri's family, justice had finally come, but only after 23 years of pain, confusion, and being ignored. The murder of Sherri Rasmussen is more than a cold case solved. It's a reminder that truth can be delayed, but it can never be erased. A DNA sample the size of a grain of salt was enough to expose a killer who once wore a badge, and who believed she had buried her past forever. Thank you for watching Cold Case Uncovered. If you want more true crime documentaries that reveal hidden truths and long-awaited justice, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue telling the stories that matter, the stories that should never be forgotten.